What is going on, YouTube? Cloud Envy here, and I am bringing you the NPL Season 6 Week 4 battle against Dallas and the San Antonio Swamperts. Now, his team was just such a crazy bad matchup for us. Give me 1 second so I can pull up the doc and just kind of list these off. We're just going to rattle some mons off. Now, the doc is loading currently because my phone apparently can't handle things and should have been prepared. Okay. What? Wait, please work. Why is... There we go. Okay. It just goes to show how prepared I am for everything. Okay, so his full roster is Magierna, Charizard X. Keep in mind, Magierna is a Z-move user. Rotomosh, Decidueye, Cobalion, Z-move user. Meloetta, Z-move user. Breloom, Xatu, Blastoise, Miltank, and Weezing. And we brought Toxapex, Flygon, Arcanine, Tauros, Celebi, and Mega Beedrill. Now, his team was more or less what I expected. I figured Blastoise had to come. Bulky spinner set. Meloetta was a good bring, but I wasn't completely sure. I had it kind of on the maybe list. Magierna was also on the maybe list. It definitely puts in work, but he has to be able to set up with it first. Lando I definitely had to come. Zardex definitely had to come. And Xatu was a safe bring. I'm not going to say it was completely necessary, but it wasn't a bad idea either, considering I have Fortress to spam hazards. I have Toxapex to spam hazards. That's it. Like, I have those two. But at the same time, that's basically all those two mons do. So Xatu's 100% understandable. Main reasons Zardex and Lando. I have nothing for Zardex and Lando. I mean, yeah, Toxapex puts in work against Zardex. Sort of. We definitely don't want to eat an EQ from Charizard X at all. That completely just ravages between EQ and Flare Blitz. We're dead. That's it. We die. We just die there. Lando, Flygon is an okay switch in, except for the fact that, you know, it's got HP Ice. So, not an uncommon move for Landorus. But, again, like, there really isn't much we didn't prep for. I didn't prep super hard for Meloetta. I probably should have. I mean, we have knockoff on Beedrill. Yeah. But we're going to get into... I need to put this away. I'm going to keep looking at my phone. It's going to distract me, and that's not what's important right now. This is what's important right now. So, arm prep. We have... I'm going to look at my other PC for a minute. No, I don't just have two PCs lying around. My desktop is just crap. So I can't upload from that. First and foremost, Toxapex. Max HP. Max bold defense with just a hint of special defense. We have Toxic, because Toxic Spikes is a big no-no here because Xatu exists. So Toxic is going to bounce off Xatu and not affect Toxapex. We have Haze to get rid of Zarz-Dance, to get rid of Magierna's Shift Gear, to get rid of Lando's potential Double Dance, which I'm 100% expecting. You know, we're going to backtrack for a moment because... No, we'll keep going. I'll state what I expected them to bring after I'm done with this, because priorities, which is really just lack of priorities. Whatever. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning, guys. Cut me some slack. But we also have Scald for obvious Scald purposes and Recover for obvious Recover purposes with Regenerate and Black Sludge. So Nipple House is pretty much just, you know, it's built to kind of handle Zardex. We want to get a Toxic off, so the potential sweep is not a thing that can happen, as well as be able to Scald other threats like anything else. Flygon is... Actually, I honestly really love this set. In my mock battles, it really pulled through for MVP. We've got a pretty balanced Flygon, 152 HP, 60 in attack. Just gotta wiggle the mouse. 148 in Spadef, and 148 in... Is that 148? Am I just stupid? Yeah, 148 in Spadef, 148 in speed with a Jolly Nature. This Flygon is made for Weezing. I really thought Weezing would come in just because there's not a whole lot of my mons that can really do much to it outside of Celebi and, like, Celebi. So I really expected Weezing to come. So we brought a D-Dance sub Flygon with Dragon Claw and Earthquake just for the dual stab, because the dual stab really puts a pounding on this team, save for, like, again, like Weezing, because all I can hit it with is Dragon Claw, and I'm going to have to get D-Dances up, but since with our investment, Weezing cannot break our sub unless it's packing, like, a super surprising move, like HP Ice for some reason, but there really isn't a reason to do that. So, thought process was sub up on the predicted Willow, get some D-Dances up, and just take shit out. That's really what the set's made to do. Sub up, set up on Weezing, take shit out. He does not have Weezing, which really surprised me. Really kind of scared me a little bit, because it's like, oh no, what am I gonna set up on now? But we will see how that plays out. Next up, we have Bingo, the Arcanine. This set is super duper fun. Flamethrower for Magearna. We have HP Ice for Lando. Xatu kind of just whatever. It's a Xatu. Solar Beam. Hold that thought. And Dragon Pulse for Zardex. Now we are carrying Gracium Z because that Rotom Wash and that Blastoise are very bulky water types that without Bloom Doom, we would really not be able to hit Blastoise or Rotom. So we are packing those. Fortunately, he did not bring Rotom, and it is going to hit Blastoise really hard depending on investment. We do have Flash Fire, just so that we're able to switch in on Charizard fairly easily, because we can live an EQ before D-Dance happens. So that's not too bad. We have 4 defense, max special attack modest with max speed. I had a different plan with this Arcanine that we're going to get to a little later. But next up, we've got Tauros the Tauros. I love this set. Like, this set really got me more interested in Tauros. We have max attack with a naughty nature, 42 special attack investment, and 216 speed. Obvious sheer force is obvious. Come on, this is not the week we're going to bring a bulky Tauros. With Rock Climb, EQ, Ice Beam, and Pursuit. Now, we are rocking a Choice Scarf, because with our investment, we can outspeed Zard at +1. We can outspeed Lando at +1, in case he is a Scarf Lando. It hits Magearna really hard. Hits the potential Cobalion really hard, which I'm also a little surprised he didn't bring. SD Cobalion messes up my entire squad, save for Toxapex, which is honestly one of the big reasons we brought it. But this Tauros doesn't OHKO so much as it's tier 2 revenge. It's a revenge killer. That's really what this mon is. And moving on, we have the Dr. Celebi. This is another set that I really just love. I was talking to my front office, who recommended me a different Celebi set, which was a phenomenal set at the same time, but I felt like this one just did a little bit better. We have Earth Power, Psychic, Giga Drain, and Nasty Plot, holding a Salic Berry with 48 HP, 252 modest special attack, and 208 speed. Now this Celebi can, after I get a Nasty Plot up, it's bulky enough to be able to switch into either of his water types and set up off of them. Past that, at +2, this moveset OHKOs most of his team. The only downfall is what it doesn't OHKO, we really can't touch. Like, Celebi unfortunately can't do much to Xatu, and it also doesn't do a whole lot to Meloetta, which is really going to kind of hurt its usability in this matchup. This particular matchup, I should say. Because, again, I really expected Weezing, really expected Cobalion. But it is what it is. There's no sense in complaining. I mean, it's still not awful. Celebi can still put in work here. Last but not least, we have Stabby the Beedrill. Now, I'm going to go over the set I was originally going to bring. Originally, before my mocks, before Team Revision, we had Poison Jab, Knockoff, Agility, and Baton Pass, mainly to Agility up and pass into Special Sweeping Arcanine, just because after chip damage, it takes care of everything. Everything, again, save for possibly Meloetta. Investment is a thing. Assault Vest Meloetta is a thing. So obviously we're going to have to try to scope that before Arcanine can really put a hurting on. But we did change up Beedrill. Now we are running Poison Jab, Knockoff, Swords Dance, and Drill Run. Because at +2, even Lando doesn't want to take something. Really anything, to be honest. We are not running U-Turn, which I'm really not all that happy about. But at the same time, I really wasn't able to fit it on here. Because Dallas's team, I don't really have a switch in for anything, like at all. Even my walls, like Toxapex gets destroyed by EQ spam. Fortress really has a hard time switching on Zardax and Lando, considering it takes neutral from EQ and it's quad weak to fire. Florges doesn't want to take a hit from either of them as well. I don't remember the rest of my team because I'm stupid. Hitmontop can deal, but it has no recovery. And I really wanted to bring a bulky Gyarados for this, but I feel like his best, I don't know. A Thunder Punch Charizard was just, it was too strong for him in this matchup. I didn't want to risk bringing a bulky defensive Gyarados for Zard, because obvious EQ, obvious Flare Blitz, and then get bopped by a Thunder Punch. It didn't seem worth it to me. So I decided, you know what? We'll bring one Tankymon and just a bunch of heavy hitters. Just 5 fucking set up sweeping Mons and a Toxapex. What could go wrong? But Beedrill is rocking. 168 HP investment. 232 max adamant attack, 24 special defense, and 84 speed, because with 145 speed, we can basically speed creep whatever we want without having to worry about it. So, that's one of the many reasons I love Mega Beedrill. It's literally just a glass cannon, and it's amazing. So, that takes care of our team. Again, I'm really expecting a Dragon Dance Zard, maybe D-Dance Roost. I don't know. I feel like Roost is a little risky. I'm really expecting Flare Blitz, EQ, Thunder Punch. Like, those 3 moves, my team is gone. Absolutely gone. That's it. Just those 3. It is a little risky not having Roost on there, so maybe not EQ, maybe not T-Punch, but I feel like Thunder Wave EQ would be the most threatening to me. What did I say? Did I say Thunder? Flare Blitz EQ, I feel like, is the most threatening to my squad. But the Roost is important, so either of those 2 could work. I really, really expect Yachi Double Dance Lando, because, again, there's a lot of Mons on my squad that can't eat hit from Lando. Just one prediction. You get a Rock Polish up, you get a Swords Dance up, I'm dead. Bam, that's it. This matchup was absolute death for me. Magearna. I don't know. I really haven't seen too many Magearnas. I mean, Shift Gear. He has no reason to run Trick Room with a team like this. Zard and Lando put in too much work for Trick Room to be anywhere near useful, so Shift Gear has to make an appearance. I didn't know what kind of Meloetta he would bring. I really, really expected Choice Specs, because my team kind of suffers in the special defense department, and bulky Submitter Blastoise. But we are going to hop on into this. I'm going to... Yeah, we're going to hop into this. Because, again, I don't really have switch-ins for his heavy hitters, so I felt like hit hard, hit fast, bring attack. So we are going to lead off with Taros the Tauros. I really don't have a lead for this game. I don't. I have Toxapex, who doesn't set up. I refuse to bring a setup on if his Zatu was so obvious, because predict the switch, or predict the setup, go into Zatu, bam, I can't do anything to it. It's a psychic type, I'm a poison type, there's no reason. So we just lead off with Choice Scarf, Taros, as he leads off with Landy, which kind of tells me that he might be Scarfed. So I decided to test it. We go for the Ice Beam, and he is Yachi Berry, which is good, is bad. It means we got rid of his Yachi turn 1. It's no longer that big of a threat for Tauros later. He goes for the U-turn, goes into Blastoise. Tauros can't hit this thing, so we have to go in the Celebi. As he goes for a Scald here, he gets the burn, which is, it really doesn't hurt. We have Natural Cure. But this is it. I mean, breaker number 1. We're going to go for the nasty plot. Do what we can right here. As he goes into Zatu, so we get that plot set up, taking some burn damage, and he goes for a, first off, we go for a Giga Drain. Heal back up to almost full. As he goes for a U-turn at being quad weak, did some pretty good damage. Now, this play, oh god, I was playing this match on my living room floor on this laptop, and this play literally made me fall over and just go, oh my god, because I calced this so much. He Mega Evo's, and we go for the Earth Power. Now, that Earth Power, by the calculation that I did, I don't know his investment, but I felt like, if anything, he'd be minimum a special defense investment and a pretty decent amount of HP, considering what he's speed creep, if he actually is a Dragon Dance set. But this was an 85, from my calc, 85% roll to kill, and he lives on 2%, and I knew Celebi was going to drop here. So unfortunately, Celebi was the first death of the game. It really could have put in a lot of work, but we're going to go into Stabby. I went for the knockoff because I figure if he switches, we get an item off something. If he stays in, Zard dies. If he does switch, it shows that he does have Roost. So, considering how easy it is for my team to speed creep, he doesn't know if my Arcanine has extreme speed or not. He doesn't know if Flygon or Tauros is Scarfed. That has to be a Roost set. So Beedrill comes in, goes to knockoff. I forgot Lando already lost its item. Plus, we were intimidated. He knows now that I don't have U-turn. A lot of stuff is just going wrong. But he does go for the pivot here, which is really strong play. I feel like the switch into Flygon was kind of obvious. But we're going to go into Toxapex, because I really don't want to be in against his Blastoise. I cannot set up a D-Dance or a sub on a Blastoise safely, especially with the possible Ice Beam. So we're going to go for a Toxic here, as it does get bounced back at us. Props to the front office for specifically saying not to run T-Spikes, because there's a chance I might have been like, yeah, I can do it. So we're going to switch off, as he predicts that pretty well, goes for a Roost. And we predict the switch, go for the Pursuit, and props to Dallas, man. Props to Dallas. He brought a Yachi Berry and I think it's a Koba Berry. But that prediction was on point, because that Pursuit would have done some really nasty damage to him. It does allow him to preserve Zatu for later in the game. Blastoise is going to come back out. We can only use Pursuit. I'm done. I'm out of there. Going back into Nipple House. As he predicts that really well, doubles out into Zardex, who is able to get a Roost off here. As we go for a Scald. Don't know why. I guess I really don't know why. But he goes for another Roost. We had a Toxic off. As he uses Thunder Punch. Thank God, by the way, he used Thunder Punch. That shows me that he has Roost. He has Thunder Punch. He has to have a Fire Attack. And with Roost, Thunder Punch, Fire Attack, he has to have D-Dance. And with all those, he can't have Earthquake, which means Toxapex can take care of this thing so much easier. Considering we do have Haze, we are max bold defense. So we do get a Toxic off. He does get that crit Thunder Punch, which luckily it did not para. We're just going to switch out here, which is completely fine. We can switch out, get our regen. We go back into Flygon, which really wasn't any help. I'm going to sub here, predicting him to over-predict and double out. He did not do that. He Scalded, so we do lose our sub, and we do reveal that we have sub, which is going to reveal to him as well that we have D-Dance, unfortunately. So he goes for a Scald. Nipple House just eats it. Toxapex just doesn't care about any kind of hits. So Magierna comes, and as soon... I absolutely knew. I actually discussed this with a couple people in my front office. And they're like, oh, well, shift your Magierna. Really put your team down. I was like, yeah, but I can't set up on anything but Toxapex. Like, I have pressure. Magierna can only set up on Toxapex. What's the chances that'll happen? Right here. Right here. This is how Magierna sets up on Toxapex. Dallas makes a great play and doubles into it. So we're getting right the fuck out of there. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want this thing to start setting up on me. So there's the shift here. He goes for the Z move, which really scared me. I was like, does it get Earth Power? Like, am I going to die? But he uses Gigavolt Havoc, which I am so glad I switched Toxapex out of there because it was not going to eat this well at all. Luckily, Arcanine does live it. We go for the Flamethrower, knock it down to about 24%. As he goes for a Hidden Power, I am forced to assume that it's HP Ground because I have to assume it's either Ground or Rock because it hits both Arcanine and Beedrill. Otherwise, wouldn't be able to do so. I don't think, anyway. Yeah, it has to be Rock or Ground. But Arcanine does drop there, which is really, really unfortunate. So we go into Stabby, and this was so scary. So scary. Because I'm thinking, like, wow, I don't know if I can take this Magierna. Beedrill has a good chance of living a hit. At +1, I think I didn't even calc it. I'm not even going to lie to you. I did not calc this. Beedrill was just my best chance. We have special defense investment specifically for the Magierna, but it was for Magierna before its ability kicked. And Magierna is naturally slow, so if Beedrill drops, we still have Tauros. Past that, I guess it was Toxapex because it already used up a Z move. But this was scary. This was really scary. So I have to go for the drill run. We live on 3%. 3%. Magierna drops right there. That could have been a 6-0 had the roll been a little more in his favor. But Lando comes in. I felt like my best bet was just to get damage off, see if I could poison it. Bam! And we do drop to HP Ice, which does really, he has HP Ice. At that rate, I feel like I was much better off sacking off Beedrill than losing Flygon. That's actually false. I probably should have kept Beedrill around, but who knows. We go into Tauros here. I feel like his switch was pretty obvious. Lando is still very useful considering we have Toxapex, and there isn't much on his team that can deal with it. So we're going to Pursuit here. Cuts him down to about 9%. So taking care of Lando shouldn't be too bad later. This Blastoise is coming. We have to go on Toxapex. There's no real other option. He's going to go for a Scald. Which is good for us. So we are going... He's going to go into Xatu now. Predicting the Toxic as we go for a Scald. This Xatu was such a pain. It was a surprising annoyance. I really didn't expect it to be as bad as it was. So we do get another Scald off. Luckily we get the burn as well. So this Toxapex is really putting in the work right now. So we're going to switch out there. I really don't want to drop to the Xatu. I can't afford to lose Toxapex right now. Honestly, he's going to U-turn here. And we just go straight for a Rock Climb. I really wanted to get damage off on the Zapdos. Wow, really wanted to get damage off on Blastoise. Because outside of Toxic stalling it, I really can't do much, and Flygon is really just my last hope of victory here. So, it's okay. There wasn't much in there. We go for a Toxic as we just trade Scalds back and forth. I guess I really thought he was trying to relegate my health low enough to predict me to recover and go into something big. So I wanted to get the recover off a little earlier than expected. But we are going to win this 1v1 more just because we have recovery. So he makes a great play here as I tried to recover prematurely so he couldn't get that prediction off. But he goes into Xatu anyway. Gets a clean roost up as we go for a Scald. If I had gone for the Scald, Xatu would have gone down on the switch. So great play by Dallas. Great prediction there. I'm going to go back into Tauros, kind of just sack him off here. Now, I know Flygon can eat damage from the Zatu. How much? I have no idea. I wanted to just kill it off the bat so he doesn't have a Toxic switch in. It does reveal that we can live another Psychic, so I decided just to go for a D-Dance here. Even if he goes into Lando, we at least keep the speed boost. If I were smart, I would have gone for 2 D-Dances, but you'll see that it really doesn't matter. Zatu does die to a burn, as preserving Lando was a great idea for him, just because now we don't have that attack boost. So Flygon does take out Lando. It is looking like a 2-on-3 right now. Our comeback is looking pretty good, but there's that Meloetta. So we go for an EQ here. It doesn't do a whole lot, and Flygon drops. I think to myself, we're dead. That's it. We are dead. I'm done. Like, I'm gonna go 0-4 at a minus infinite differential, and that's our season. See ya. So, we'll play it out. We'll see what Toxapex can do. There's no reason for me to forfeit. It's not even legal to forfeit. We have to play for differential. So, Toxapex comes in. And he goes for a knockoff. And I was a little confused. I figured, you're a Psychic type. Just do Psychic stuff. But we went for a Scald for reasons I don't know. And he goes for Psyshock, revealing that it only does about 44%. And I'm thinking, oh, I can live. Like, we can live this. I got a little cocky there. Really should not have done that. There was a chance, very good chance, that Psyshock could have killed us. But he does reveal that he doesn't have Psychic, which is really our saving grace. But right now, we really have to focus on keeping our health good, because between Thunder Punch, Psyshock, and potential Dragon Dance roosting, there's a very heavy chance that we die. Like, the Toxapex handling all these mons there's a lot of, like, precision around this. So he goes for a D-Dance right here. As we hit Scald. Luckily, the Toxic is really taking its toll in this Zard. I figured we could live with +1 Thunder Punch pretty well. We can just, all we have to do is recover spam up until Toxic does its job. So Toxic does take out Zard X. He goes back into Meloetta. And he hits with Psyshock, which, at this rate, Psyshock, we're going to win this race because we heal more than Psyshock deals. I need to stop getting cocky, because one crit could have made the game. Just one crit. If I were smart, I would have just clicked recover. He goes for Focus Blast here. Unfortunately, that was a misplay on his part. So, sorry about that, Dallas. A misplay. I'm sorry, misclick. It was a misclick, not a misplay. I'm stupid. Just ignore me. But he goes for a Skull, gets the burn off, and at this point, there's no way we could have lost a 1v1 Toxapex on Blastoise, and oh my god, I lost it. I had this match in my living room with a couple friends, and I lost. I was like, oh my god, I didn't lose. I'm not 0-4. This is our turning point. We're 1-3 now. Like, oof. I'm telling you, like, I went crazy. But regardless, that was a crazy, crazy game. Dallas, thank you so much. I can't believe we pulled out of that. I could have been a little more careful. There was a lot of rolls on both sides that really could have changed everything. But all in all, I feel like it was more or less balanced. Luckily, there were virtually no hacks involved. Outside of that focus miss, I don't really think there were, outside of a couple rolls. The only statuses were a burn and some toxic, so that's actually a plus. There's not a whole lot of games where you could say that there was little to no hacks whatsoever. But again, those rolls did matter for both sides. But again, Dallas, thank you for such a fun battle. Guys, please go check his channel out. Go check out the NPL. I have a lot more to do tonight, I really do. But stay tuned for next week. We will be battling Toad. We are currently 1-3, which takes us a little further away from being relegated. We're not in the clear yet, but we're getting there. We're crawling our way back out of not the bottom. So, yeah. Yo, you guys know I'm bad at outros. Don't expect things from me. But I will see you guys later. Until then, stay frosty.